sent a message to the GID and said, please add to December agenda item, updated Quaking Aspen Road regarding frequent unanswered repair requests from residents. Thank you, Donald Otto, and fellow residents. And so I didn't want to leave that unattended. So my response to that was, this will not be on the December agenda, as stated by the OM and the board in multiple public meetings this year. And per our current resolution, Quaking Aspen improvements will be a project approved by the board to allocate the funding. This is also true of the other 90+ miles of roads maintained in our district, if improvements are requested beyond normal maintenance and grading. At the October meeting, the board president requested that the OM bring a cost analysis of various road projects in the district, including Quaking Aspen. This list of projects and the cost associated with each was presented to the board and the public at the November meeting. This list of projects in its entirety, and including pavement rehabilitation, will be considered by the board in early 2025. This is the long-standing practice of the PVGID to consider road maintenance and improvement projects in the early spring. This allows time for the district to do a thorough assessment of our road surfaces after the winter months and secures a greater confidence in the available funding. Thanks, John. So you guys know we responded. That was a response. We're going to attach that to the minutes. So in the future, everybody understands that we respond to our constituents. Right?
No comment, public comment.
And approval of minutes, November 21st, 2024, regular meeting.
Okay. Let's see what trouble I can cause. Ms. Phillips said she had stated she had been working with her staff to create a salary structure so we can have it on file. Correct?
Correct.
Okay. Good. I don't know how YouTube's working, but our attorney's here, and thank you very much. I was got a question on that. And welcome to our club, I guess. Thank you very much. Appreciate you're here. I wanted to get that in because we haven't had an attorney here. And thank you very much. Sean talked a little bit about Andrew, and things are going okay there. And EMRB report filed. I didn't know what that was, so
Employee Management Relationship Board.
could you just put a parens on that or something?
Yeah.
Because nobody knows what those documents are.
I sure can.
I do.
Well, I'm sure you do, yeah, because you fill those out somewhere, I think, like the airport. Okay, so back on track.
I will add the
The only other comments I have on minutes, the only comment I have on minutes is I was looking at the financial reports, and we have the meeting minutes that are well spelled out in terms of page 5, page 6, and so on. When we do the financial reports, would it be nice to have
They have page numbers.
connotation that says page 1, page 2, page 3? So when I get lost, I want to know what it is. And once you set it up in the computer, we're just going to be there no matter what. So that would be easy to do. So that, and if somebody's out there looking at things, they're going to want to know, okay, well, this is go to page 2 of the financial report, and we get the meeting minutes, go to page wherever in the meeting minutes. And that seems to work very good when we're communicating with you. That's it. I move to approve the meeting minutes as written.
second.
We got a second. Any public comment on the minutes? We got a motion and a second. All in favor? Aye, opposed?
I have one question for our attorney. Do we need to have public comment on meeting minutes? When I was at Reno and Washoe County and all these other places, I cannot recollect that anyone from the public had the ability to make changes to meeting minutes, and I was curious about having that maybe just a little bit clarified.
Any item that you take action on should have public comment.
Okay, thanks, that's all I needed to know. Okay. More louder, there we go, we got you up loud now, okay,
Motion carried.
Very good.
thank you.
Okay, review of bills and other financial matters, review of transactions report.
Alright. So, wasn't quite as busy of a month for invoicing, so there was only the two, where exactly was it? The Sierra Rental Transport, there was the one invoice, or the one section of invoices that came through. I left it kind of broken out so you could still see each project. And then just the typical monthly bills were in there, but nothing extra. We did have 2 payments come through for the LGTA that hit in the same month, or well, one in November, one in December, but usually we only see one on the report. Okay, so that is the transaction report. And then on the invoices to be paid, I brought the new copy tonight. There was a Flyers invoice that came through yesterday. So I added that to the bottom there to get that paid, since that is a net 10 invoice, so it'll be due before the next meeting. Other than that, usual invoices and 1 granite bill for $72. And then on the estimated net operating report, I brought a new one. I didn't update the total cash on hand, so that has been updated. So there's a new copy that I brought this evening. So we had already estimated or accounted for last month all of the expenses on all of the projects, so nothing changed on those. And then just our monthly payments, we didn't see anything unusual as far as payments coming in.
Any public comment? Make a motion to pay the bills.
I move to pay the bills.
I'll second that.
Got a motion and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, motion carried. Okay, judicial revenue and affairs, we have none. Road reports, road operations and maintenance report.
Well, we had Andrew, which is really coming along. He's eager. He gets frustrated when he understands that he messes stuff up, but he also understands that it takes time to get this place down. And anyway, I just thank him for trying as hard as he is. We were doing a little bit of backering, and we ended up having the main router hose blow, and I just really want to say thank you to Marty, because he had the tools, and we were able to drive truck up there and repair that. So thank you very much, Marty, for that. Finally, because of 2 people, we got Yellowtail pretty close to being covered with rocks, and we got that last stretch from Yoke to the end covered up. So yeah, anyway, we've just had a few little things going here and there on equipment, but any other questions?
Sounds like you're taking care of drainage too when you do these.
Right now in the winter, we always do our drainage and escapes and make sure that our culverts are set.
I've driven on Yellowtail since you did all that work, and it's really nice, Sean.
That was, and that was all Andrew. So I do want to let you know that he's still going to try and figure out how to get all the washboard out and the little humps. So we will get that, but anyway, it was just, I want to make sure that he learns the system. So, and if that's the hard part. Any dummy like me could sit in the truck and drive it. it's the guy that's spreading that needs to get it down, so.
One of the questions I have for you, Sean, would be, are we sufficient capital-wise or approved-wise through the board so that you, when you need Class E, this time of year, there's still money in the budget to do
I think we
that?
have 37.
Yeah, I saw the 37 for
Yeah.
before, so we're still okay on that?
Yeah, I could, yeah.
Okay, all right, thank
But,
you.
and that's where the future projects will come.
I understand, thank you.
Any public comment?
Oh,
Yeah.
Jan Morrison, for the record, I just want to thank Sean, and Andrew, for doing the Yellowtail, especially Pioche to the end is awesome, and I go slow.
Thank you.
Did you put a speed bump in there, please?
Any other discussion?
Is this relating to what the work's done or what other maintenance issues?
If it has to do with roads, sir, if you want to make a public comment, feel free,
Yeah.
just state your name.
I'm Roger Waltz. I've requested several times to get, the bottom end of Wilcox Ranch Road fixed. I know they laid down quite a bit of gravel, from Amy all the way down to, just
2800.
before the incline. But the incline, being a steep incline as it is, and windy, it is a horrible wash road. It's probably the worst roads in this valley right now. And I just want to find out when or if anybody's gonna do anything about it anytime soon.
Can I ask you a question? Did you submit a road request
Twice.
twice? Okay, thank you. So it's on the books. That's what we want to make sure of.
When they started to do it and they got down as far as they did, I thought it was gonna continue and then it just stopped. So I just want to make sure that,
I had a budget for that road and actually was, I think, a little over on that one.
I think so.
So I do have allocations for the rest of the way though. I have asked, haven't got allocated yet.
It's all part of what we're going to spend money on, sir.
Sorry.
Any other public comment? All right. Moving on. Unfinished business, we have none. New business, possible bonus for the operations manager, John Kelly. And I put this on there, and so I'm gonna kind of do an opening, and then I'll take discussion from the board, maybe public comment. So you guys have heard me say, and ladies, you've heard me say over the years that I've been on the board, that you guys know that I currently work for a public entity. I'm familiar with public entities, and my goal with the PBGID is to make this public entity competitive with our partners in the region for hiring and retention purposes. So if you look at other public entities, bonuses, they call them different things in different public entities. But if you look at Reno, Washoe, or the Airport Authority, I know the Airport Authority does theirs at this time of year. They do bonuses for people that are in unrepresented groups, primarily management. And with Sean as the operations manager, I thought that the GID needs to move forward in a timeline similar to this every year and look at a bonus for the operations manager, whoever it is. And they come in various forms. They, like I said, they call them different things. And when I say a bonus, I'm talking about a cash bonus that is non-personal. So it's just a cash bonus. There's no retirement attached to it. That's generally how they're done throughout the region. Washoe County calls theirs a longevity pay for their unrepresented people, and that is personable. We don't want to do that. So they range, they'll do 0 to 5% is generally the in these public entities. And when you look at our current budget, being down budgeted position for really about 5 months, that's probably $35,000 to $40,000 in savings in the personnel budget in this fiscal. The attorney, we went up half a year without the attorney, we budgeted $20,000. We're gonna be well ahead on that budget, and I wouldn't even bring this if there wasn't budgeted money to actually approach it. So I think it's doable for our district, I think it's right. I think it's moving us in the direction where we retain, hire, we're competitive, so people in the future, when we don't have the 2 employees we have, we can replace them easier than not. And my personal feeling is this year, with the money available, my proposal is $3,000 in a cash bonus for the operations manager this year. Now, I will caveat this and say that you've heard me talk about, currently the board member handbook is being updated and people are working on that. That's step one, and that'll come in the near future. After that, we're gonna update the employee handbook. And that employee handbook, when it's done, and I'll be working on that with other people, it's gonna be presented to the board in a structure that's gonna have pay scales for our budgeted positions in a range. It's gonna be laid out with how we're gonna do raises in the future, and this is all through board approval after it's done. Instead of willy-nilly just kind of faking our way through it every June when we do the closed session. And in that proposal, I'm gonna put this bonus as an end-of-year opportunity for the board to do for the operations manager. And again, it could be 0 in the future, it could be, I'll put some numbers in there that I think are relevant to the region we live in. But that's why this is on the agenda, that's my thinking behind it, and actually, let's do public comment first, and then we'll go to the board discussion. Any public comment on this? George?
George Boyce for the record. What about the employee?
Employees too,
Well,
that would be part of the new
No, I'm
document.
talking about this year.
Oh,
Jim?
this-
Are we taking into consideration?
No,
Something?
let me, we're just doing public comment. Is there anything else, George?
No.
I'll explain that.
Brian
Brian?
Commando, for the record, I believe that providing bonus, especially for Sean here, considering all the work that he does and all the money that he has saved over the years of the district. And, having lived here in the valley solidly now for going on 20 years, I believe, and I do work on, and I do drive up that part of the Wilcox Ranch. So I know what you're talking about there. But I tell you what, the roads, in my opinion, have never been better, and I believe it's due to the skill and the work ethic of Sean, as well as all the work he does on maintaining and repairing the equipment that we have that he saved us over the way. And so I would recommend that you provide a bonus for him this year.
Any other public comment?
Yeah, I do. I want to know what's the criteria, and I don't know this gentleman, and I'm not commenting based on him or this year in general. I'm making a general comment. How do we determine what he's worth, or the guy next year, or the guy the year after? What's the criteria to say, well, this guy's worth 3%, but because I like him or I don't like him, and this guy's doing an exceptional job, I don't really like him, so he's only at 1% or something. How do we read through all of that quagmire?
Any other public comment? So, on the first public comment, when the employee handbook's updated, generally these bonuses are for, like I said, unrepresented people, which are usually management level people. Now, and again, when I bring this to the board will decide how they want to move on it. But next year, once this document is either approved or not, I would probably put, because we only have 2 employees, I would probably want to visit this on both employees next year. And as far as the criteria for this, when the employee handbook's done, there might be some stipulated guidelines in there in the future for this. As far as this year goes, I think it was hit on in the public comment. I mean, there's the cost savings that the operations manager done for the district and keeping the district moving as a solo employee for 5 months really. And in my opinion, in this economy, bringing on a couple of employees in a 5-month time period out to Palomino Valley and having the current employee that worked out off probationary status, I think that speaks for itself. But now we've done public comment, we'll take discussion from the board.
I just think procedurally, you're putting the cart before the horse. So you just talked about how we need to update the handbook and the employees manual, and the current version that I have does not address that whatsoever, an additional compensation in the form of a bonus. So that's my comment. I'm not saying he doesn't deserve a bonus, I'm just saying it's not in our handbook.
Anybody else?
Marty?
I know it's not in the handbook, and I understand that. But we also had a guy that worked by himself for 5 months with no help. And he did continue to make progress. And he did get roads done, and he did get maintenance done. And considering it was a single person doing it, I think this is a special situation on that. I agree in the following year with having it written down, and you're right, it may be a 0 next year, depending on performance base and budget and everything else. But right now it shows we have a guy that stuck around. He didn't have to stick around. When everyone quit, he could have walked with everyone else. And he very easily could have, and I'll tell you right now, I don't know where you would have found someone to fill the spot. Because first you have to get someone that's willing to come out here. Then you have to get someone willing to show up every day. And then you have to get someone that's willing to show up every day and be autonomous as a single person to go to work. No one follows him around every day and makes sure he keeps working and doing everything. That alone, from having to run crews in the past and being a foreman for years, and that's a hard thing to find. You don't find people that show up and just go to work. You usually have to be there, and you have to hold their hand, and it takes an hour to get them going, and it takes 2 hours to get them lined out, and then you're going and going and going, and there is no foreman. He shows up, he knows what he's doing for the day, he gets everything going, he drags everything out, puts everything away, and buttons up, and there's no problems at the end of the day. I think that alone is proved. Plus, he's gone and looked at equipment for this valley. The maintenance is it for us. We don't have to hire mechanics at $185 an hour to come out here and work on our stuff. We're not hiring Caterpillar at $350 an hour to come work on our stuff. He takes and fixes anything when it needs to be fixed. And at any time it needs to be beyond his abilities, he always shops around and finds the best price to fix it. And whether that's a mobile guy or a local guy. So that alone, we're encompassing a huge envelope here. And for all the years that he has put in, we haven't done this before. This will be a first. And it's not the guy that we just hired this year. You're on year 8, 7? 7 years now. 7 years with showing up every day, even after shoulder surgery, still showing up and making sure things happen. And he technically wasn't even supposed to be there, but he made sure things kept happening so we didn't end up behind. So I'm for it. I'm also for moving forward and setting up because I do think it's needed, and it is a practice that is used across the board, whether it's private industry or public industry, to reward performance in those positions, because those positions are not rewarded otherwise. So That's my statement on that.
Greg?
I couldn't think of anything else to say. Marty did such a good job in terms of what I was gonna say. Um, The idea that we have someone that's capable of doing many things, not just one thing. There's one thing that isn't maybe people don't understand is just operating a piece of equipment is entirely different than operating it, maintaining it, hiring the people, running the show, dealing with the finances, making sure things happen right. So, I, I would, I would go along with the bonus you suggested, John.
Well, I'm gonna make a motion for a $3,000 cash bonus for the operations manager, Sean Kelly.
I second that.
We got a motion and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Nay, based on what I said before, I think has nothing to do with whether he deserves it or not. I think we're
I
procedurally,
understand.
we're doing the cart before the horse. I recognize everything that Marty said, and I do think if we had it already in place, I would be approving it. But I'm voting nay for the reasons I stated.
Thank you.
Fair enough, motion carried.
Thank you.
Correspondence.
I think I'm the longest part of the meeting today. We received a letter from the Office of the County Clerk regarding the election of the representative of the Washoe County Debt Management Commission. We historically have chosen not to vote, and I spoke with Trustee Patterson, and we'll go ahead and put that down as well, that we're not voting this year. We received a notification from PERS. There will be a substantial rate increase. It will go into effect July 1st, 2025. So we received that. If we were to hire someone who had worked for the state of Nevada before, they cannot make over $31,335. They were busy. They sent out all kinds of papers. The next one doesn't really affect anybody here. Sean, if you're making over $350,000 a year, we have to limit your PERS.
We're not doing that.
No, it cut back your purse. You don't want to do that. We received the assessments, the 25-26 assessments on the Wayside property and the Ironwood property. We don't pay taxes on them, but they have been, the assessment has gone up. The Ironwood property went from $87,500 to $105,000, and the land property on Wayside went from $125 to $150, and total taxable went up to $256,000. We received the renewal application for the insurance for the district. Angie and Sean both were very helpful on that. This is just to submit the application. It's not a bid. It's not their quote, but it is something that we did receive. And with that comes an adjustment in how they do the payroll. This will affect Angie more than anybody else, and how we pay it, but we won't exactly know how much that is until we get the quote. So that's it. That's what I've got.
All right. Calendar.
On the calendar, I had for the pool pack renewal information, the swearing is going to be, the swearing in of the new officers will be in January. I'll check on the date on that. And all the trustees need to file their FDSs
How
and
knew you didn't
CNEs.
bring that up? Good job.
Yes, by January 15th, you must do that.
And they meet it, because I've been fined before. so
Yeah.
Make sure you do it.
Yeah. And the
Yes,
ethics
yeah.
form, right?
Mhm.
$150.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah, the new ones have to do the ethics form.
yeah.
It will get you.
Now, neither Julie Osborne or Marshall Todd are here tonight. I have emailed both of them. Julie has confirmed. Greg, you had said you might want to go. The training for open meeting law and ethics will be on January 9th at 5:30 at the Sun Valley GID. They have a very nice meeting
Yeah,
room.
it's a nice place.
So, and that's all I've got on the calendar.
Okay, board member and staff items.
I have some. Next, January, this is my last meeting, so I just want to say a couple things related to, next meeting. January is when the board will elect, or re-elect new officers. I totally support, reelecting, John Patterson as your president. I do think, even though I get along pretty well with this guy over here, Greg, I do think you should reconsider your treasurer, because the treasurer should be willing to review bills as recommended by the auditor. Our GID needs this type of internal controls, so I am recommending that you elect a treasurer who's willing to do the job as recommended. I also think that the president and all officers should connect with Pool Pack to learn all about the free assistance they provide. A reminder that John as president and Greg as treasurer and myself are currently on the bank signature card. I'm sure I'll be removed soon, which is obviously appropriate. I think the new board should discuss and vote on who should be signatories. I recommend the president, treasurer, and possibly the vice president to be signatories. I do not believe the operations manager should be a signatory on the bank. They also, Pool Pack also offers for free supervisor training in case Sean would ever like to do that. I know he only has one employee, but you'd be surprised what can happen if the employee starts screwing up. And then I know we've mentioned it already. I just want to make a record of it that I'm recommending that the board handbook and employee manual need to be updated as soon as possible. And I understand that Kathy, that's going to be one of her roles, working with Robin and John. And hopefully you'll have something for the attorney. When looking at it today, Kathy asked for some stuff from me. And several of the items I thought the attorney would need to provide some input on, because, you know, that's a document that's you're going to be able to use to hold yourself accountable and also your employees and your independent contractors. And that's it. Thank you.
I have a quick question. Did you say Pool Pack could review that too?
And Pool Pack will review it for free.
Yeah, that's
Yes,
okay.
yeah.
That, I like the free part. I heard the free part.
No, I think
Free.
I think to have them do it, and then obviously at some point, I do think the board's attorney should look at it, but do as much as you can with Pool, you know, with Kathy, with Pool Pack, and that way, we don't, our attorney that we have to pay $365 an hour doesn't have to spend too much time.
Yeah, on the whole
Yeah,
document.
on the whole
Yeah,
document, yeah.
okay.
And they'll have their attorney look at it as well before it goes to our attorney.
The Pool Pack? Yeah,
Yeah.
okay. And then, anybody else?
And your points are well taken.
You know, I'm not trying
You're not
to.
trying to pick on me.
No.
I understand you. I understand how you think.
Okay,
You want things separate, like separation of powers so that things work supposedly
one
like
checks
they're
and balances,
supposed to.
right, you know.
Checks and balances. That's
You know, I
correct.
just,
I
you
have
know,
no problem with what you do.
my,
I accepted the pass roll because that's what needed to be done.
I got you. Anyway,
So,
that's it, John, thanks.
I'm still gonna take public comment, but my, board member and staff item, end of year message for everyone here. The four people here. One, I'd like to say, I hope everyone has a Merry Christmas. I love this time of year. And next year is, we got a lot of money. Not a lot, but for the GID, we got a lot of money next year. And we're gonna touch a lot of roads. And I guarantee it. And we're gonna get a lot done. So, buckle up. It'll be a great 2025. We're getting to it. So, on that, public comment on matters not listed on the agenda.
Yes, don't tell anybody we have any money.
Sorry, Craig. I screwed up.
Yeah.
Brian?
Yeah, Brian DeMembro for the record, and I would just like to thank both Pam and Marty, who stepped into the board during a very difficult time for the district and for the help that they have provided and guidance. And I just really believe we all owe them some thanks.
Yeah,
So
I agree. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Any other public comment? Do I get a motion to adjourn?
I motion to adjourn.
And second,
We got a motion and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, opposed, motion carried, we're adjourned at
This is a new
7:07.
record,
I kind of
everyone.
need it.
37 minutes. This is a brand new record.